has been High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you in part by Ramey Chevrolet, steering you straight. By Hardee's Restaurant, where we're out to win you over. And by Mullins Ford, your four-wheel drive headquarters in Richlands, Virginia. Thanks for watching. Now's the time to buy that new Ford truck you've been waiting on. Hello, and welcome to the High School Football Game of the Week. This week, the Bluefield Beavers take on the Flying Eagles of Beckley in Beckley. This week's matchup is brought to you in part by Ramey Chevrolet, steering you straight. By Hardee's Restaurant, where we're out to win you over. And by Mullins Ford, your four-wheel drive headquarters in Richlands, Virginia.
Tonight, the high school game of the week heads north on I-77 to Beckley and the home of the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Purcell, and welcome to the high school football game of the week here on WVBA TV. Tonight from Beckley, West Virginia, the home of the Flying Eagles, it's the Woodrow Wilson squad, coached by Pete Colasurto, hosting the Bluefield Beavers. Our color commentator tonight, he's no stranger to Beckley. He coached here between 1962 and 1967, Coach Ken Wheeler. And I understand, Coach, you of course know Coach Pete Colasurto very well, but also the former coach, John Shamar with the Bluefield Beavers.
Yeah, John and I were teammates at Marshall way back there, and he was a freshman when I was a senior. And John was a real fine fella, and I enjoyed playing him when I did here at Beckley.
Coach, while we've got a moment, let's talk about how the game has changed. You back in the 60s, I'm sure it's not quite the same as it is today here in the 80s.
Well, Pat, it's changed a little bit, but not a whole lot. The basic changes is, as everybody always tells you, size of the kids and the dedication to some of the kids and speed. Defenses pretty much are staying the same during this period, but that's the only big change. It probably is in the kids.
Let's turn back to tonight's matchup, and for the Bluefield Beavers, they enter tonight's game with a 3-2 record. While Beckley, the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles, they are 1-4. They've had some problems. Last week, they nearly had Logan, but they let it slip away.
Yeah, Pat, I talked to Coach Colasurto about it, and he was a little disappointed in that game because you had a team 12-0 up until 6 minutes, and then pass coverage on defense gave Logan the one score, and then they came back and picked up a fumble and gave him the other score. But he was real disappointed in the game. But as he also said, the kids played real hard, and they do here at Woodrow. They'll never quit on you. But it was a disappointment, and it's been that way in 4 games this year. He's had some breaks that gone against him, but as they say in this game, you got to make your own breaks.
As far as the matchup is concerned between the two teams, they match up extremely well. But if you were to draw about any kind of difference, take a look at the difference between the two teams. I guess it would be size versus speed. Bluefield, a much bigger team.
Yes, Pat. Bluefield on both sides of the ball will average about 220. And Woodrow's they're not gonna match that all. But speed, I hope for Woodrow's sake, will make it up in the backfield. They'll have Tommy Moore, and I'm hoping that Nelson Staples will be back and give him a little more speed. But, and Colasurto, Vincent's passing is going to be another key to this ball game. If he's on, then Beckley can come out with a win.
You know, you mentioned the name Colasurto. That name seems to have been here for the last 20 years at quarterback. Tonight, the head football coach, Pete Colasurto of Beckley's got his son who will be calling the signals, and it seems like he's got his son every year out here.
Yes, he's had sons here for, again, like you say, it's been back in the 70s. Won on the state championship of '77, and he's had somebody on the team ever since. But this is the last one.
Now the keys as far as for both teams tonight, Bluefield's Stacy Carter at quarterback. Man, that guy is explosive. If he gets outside, he's gone. Now for Beckley, they've got a guy named Tommy Moore. He can break the big one. And of course, Vince Colasurto at quarterback, he's got a rifle arm.
Yes, that'll be the keys in both clubs there, how the quarterbacks operate and then how their tailbacks operate. But I know Bluefield, I was sort of surprised on the East game. I just didn't pick East to. East is a good football team, but I thought Bluefield would do much better with it.
And I guess Woodrow Wilson has to enter tonight's game a slight underdog. What will they have to do to upset Bluefield this evening?
Well, they'll have to control the football, Pat, just like any other team, and not allow, which they had in the George Washington game, they had in the Greenbrier East game the same way, and Logan, they allowed the easy touchdown, the halfback pass, or the screen. They just gave up the easy touchdowns, and they're going to have to prevent that this evening if they want to win.
So tonight on the high school game of the week from Beckley, West Virginia, it's the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles hosting the Bluefield Beavers, back with the opening kickoff in a moment.
Don't go away. High school football game of the week will be right back.
Football game of the week here on WVVA TV. Pat Frizzell with Ken Wheeler, a former head coach of the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles, and Woodrow set to get the opening kickoff in the maroon jerseys tonight. Bluefield in their traveling white, and the kick will bound into the end zone, and Bluefield will take over 1st and 10 on the 20. Now, Coach Wheeler, we've seen it time and time again on the game of the week. It seems like the team who strikes first has it made.
Well, yeah, that's been the case here too, but I don't know. That's kickoff's a little surprising to me. I've been working a couple of days with these kickers, kicking off and extra points, and that sort of pleases me a little bit, that they put in the end zone. Beckley will probably come out there. They've been using their 4-4 as a basic defense.
And the Bluefield Beavers starting quarterback tonight, no surprise, is this speedster Stacy Carter. Keep your eyes on him throughout the ball game. The key to the Bluefield offense out of the I formation. The handoff goes to the tailback. That's Ronnie Scott, and he'll pick up 3 yards. Brought down by the right side of the Beckley defense.
Scott's the ball carrier.
Looks like Bluefield, just even the first play, that looks like they like to run to the left, or else the case is Woodrow is they found a weakness maybe on the right side.
Just underway on our high school game of the week here on WVVA TV. Tonight from Beckley, it's the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles under head coach Pete Colasurto hosting Fred Simon's Bluefield Beavers. Split backfield. And again, there's Scott, and he's going to be brought down for no gain.
Yeah, it's very good job on defensive end there. He took on his blocker and stayed at home.
Now, I guess for Beckley, if they could stop him here on the first drive, that would give them just a bit of momentum early in the ball game, because again, a very explosive Bluefield offense.
Oh yes, definitely. Beckley, you know, they need, well, we use the term break, but they need something positive to start off after last week.
Carter will roll to his right, throw the football. It's incomplete. And that will bring on the punting team. That time the pass intended for Charlie Thompson. So early in the ball game, Bluefield forced to punt, and Woodrow will get very good field position here on their opening drive. Tommy Moore and Billy Cole back deep for Woodrow Wilson, standing back at their own 45. Mike Shota's kick is away, will hit at the 41, and Moore just decides to let it roll. Beckley gets on top of it, and they will start 1st and 10 on the 41. What can we expect to see out of Woodrow Wilson tonight? What kind of attack?
I'd say they'll stay their usual attack. They'll try to run it to start with, and they do throw on first down quite a bit. They've got a lot of confidence in the quarterback, Colasurto. But Pat, that's one of those cardinal mistakes on the punting there, to let the ball hit the ground. You should never let the ball hit the ground, and that ball was catchable. And as you said, they could have had a lot better field position.
10 minutes to play in the first quarter. No score from Beckley. Vince Colasurto, the signal caller tonight for Woodrow Wilson. Tommy Moore in motion. And too much time here early in the ball game by Woodrow Wilson.
mistakes, how they can kill a team.
Yes, that's what I was talking about in the pregame. Pat, you got to come out ready, and it's a cardinal sin to take too much time. Now it puts you in a passing situation almost early in the ball game.
Vince Colasurto, a tall, lanky quarterback, and if it comes to throwing the football, he stands 6'4", so he'll have no problem at all seeing over the Bluefield defense. Colasurto, and that time it's the tailback, Gross, and he'll pick up about 6 on the play, be 4 yards short of the first down. So a good pickup of 6 yards, and actually a little bit more than that, about 9.
I think that surprised me, and I think it surprised Bluefield too, because I think defense had set up, they were looking for a pass too, I believe.
The backfield for Woodrow Wilson, Odie Parker, Chris Gross. Woodrow Wilson on a 2nd down and 5 on their own 45. Colasurto, the handoff inside goes to Parker, and he'll be very close to the first down, out to the 49. Looks like he's going to be about a yard short.
Had nice trap in the line there, Pat. The offensive line, again, is another key, how they block. They haven't been blocking that well for these backs, but that was a real nice trap block there.
3rd down and 1 now for Woodrow Wilson. Just a yard short of the midfield stripe. Again, there's Tommy Moore in motion. And there's the tailback, Gross, or Staples that time rather, and he will have the first down. It's going to be very close, however, but it looks like he has it. Nelson Staples on the carry. It looks like, however, the official will say 4th down, so he is about a football length short of the first down, and Pete Colasurto is going to gamble here.
Well, you know, you're 1 and 4. You just, it's a good gamble. You should be able to make an inch.
And Colasurto keeps the football. A smart play, and he'll have the first down. So Woodrow Wilson moves the ball into Bluefield territory to the 48.
Yeah, that's one more down than I thought. That 3rd down they had that first down, Pat, but I guess the spot of the ball makes a lot of difference. But this ought to give Beckley a little bit of momentum now.
First and 10, Woodrow Wilson. Colasurto, a long snap count, and there it goes to the tailback. There's Chris Gross, and he'll have a nice pickup of 7 yards to the Bluefield 41-yard line.
I think what's happening, Pat, they have audibles at the line of scrimmage. I think maybe the other one, Vince, was auditing off the play there, and that's what's taking them so long. I thought for sure there he was going to get a delay of the game.
Bluefield's defense not exactly small up front.
No, they're real big, and they're quick. Just watching the few series here, they're real quick.
They average 200 pounds up front. 223 on their offensive line. A lot of beef for Bluefield. And Colasurto will throw the football on a straight drop. And he throws it up for grabs, and it's nearly intercepted. As that time, Mike Kelly nearly picked the pass off. And that's something you want to be careful with, is not just throwing the ball up in the air for grabs.
Yeah, that definitely was a big mistake there, because if he'd caught that ball, he would have been gone. He just well taken a 10-yard loss or throwing it in a dead area. But he put too much height on that ball and give up Bluefield defensive back time enough to run under.
3rd down and 3 now for the Flying Eagles. Again in their maroon home jerseys. Bluefield in the white. And there is the tailback that time. Staples on the carry, and he will have, it looks like, the first down easily by 5 yards. No problem there. All the way to the Bluefield 30.
And as you can see, I was telling you, if Nelson Staples could have a good game and get back after the injury, it'll make a difference in this ball game. As you just saw in that play there, ran a nice off tackle.
First and 10 for Woodrow Wilson, threatening on their first possession with 6:55 to play in the first quarter on our high school game of the week here on WVVA TV. There's Staples again, and a pickup of 4 yards. Another important fact is it seems like on first down, if you can pick up 4 and 5 yards, we talk about it time and time again in high school football. It seems like you've really got it made, picking up 4 and 5 yards.
That's the big down in high school football, right? You got to pick up the 4 or 5, and then you got an opportunity to get the first down. But as you see, Staples is doing a nice job of running, and Woodrow's doing exactly what they like to do, is to keep that ball, but they also like to score.
Eating up a lot of time here in the first quarter. And a little reverse play to Tommy Moore inside the 20, and he'll be run out of bounds at the 18-yard line, but there is a flag on the play.
Looks like it might be a hole on it. Back going out there to block. These are the mistakes that you can't have, Pat. You're driving, you're 2nd and 6, and come up with a hole, or illegal block, they call it.
So instead of a first down and 10 on the 18-yard line, it's now going to be 2nd down and 18.
And there's no doubt you almost have to go to the air on this down. Bluefield is playing 3 deep. They expect it too.
2nd and long. Full house backfield, and they give it to Tommy Moore. A little draw play, and he'll pick up a couple. That's it. So it looks like perhaps they tried to surprise Bluefield with a little draw action, but they didn't fool the Beavers.
No, they didn't. The defensive line played real smart, and they probably, high school kids are, as I told you, they're pretty intelligent on defense, and they probably played either pass or draw. Line plays draw, and the secondary plays pass, and they did a real good job.
Welcome to the high school game of the week again here on WVVA TV. Pat Frizzell with Ken Wheeler, a former head coach with the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles here in Beckley between 1962 and 67. 3rd and 17. Culacerto with a straight drop will throw it deep. And he's got more, but he just overthrows him at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, he had him down and out there, and just overthrow him a little bit. Now you're going to have to give up the football and play defense again. There's another flag down, Pat.
And it will likely go against Woodrow Wilson, it looks like. And if so, I'm sure Bluefield will decline here, which they do. Now 4th and 17, and we will see the Woodrow Wilson punting unit come on to the field. Now field position, we're starting to see it take its toll here early in the game. Woodrow Wilson drove the ball all the way to the Bluefield 37 here. Would have had better field position than that. A couple penalties wiped that out, but Bluefield standing back at the 10-yard line. Shane Kinder's kick is away, a short kick, but it will take a Woodrow Wilson bounce inside the 5 and be down at the 5. Rolls out of bounds, so Bluefield, they're going to have to dig themselves out of a hole here early in the game.
Pat, I don't know whether the kid was trying that, but that's something that you don't see in high school ball anymore. But 2 weeks ago, also I worked maybe once every couple weeks with the kickers, and I teach that kinder boy how to kick out of bounds, how to, plant your foot and kick to the sidelines, and there's just a good example of it. I don't know whether he meant that or not, but I think he did, because he was doing real well in practice with that.
Super kick, and Bluefield will have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 5. And the handoff inside goes to the fullback. There's Mike Kelly. And he'll pick up 4.
There's a nice quick hitter there. Almost sprung it. But this is what you're talking about. If Woodrow can keep them down there, they're going to gain maybe 10 yards on field position again.
Second down and a long 5 now for Bluefield. And a give goes to the tailback. There's Ronnie Scott. And he'll have the first down all the way out to the 20-yard line. He took about 6 Woodrow Wilson men with him.
That's just a good hard run there. He was just determined to get to that first down marker. And he did. He was hitting the backfield. But he drew him for about 6 more yards for the first down.
Have you ever seen a line that big, Coach?
No, not in high school. Not for Bluefield or most high schools. They're 223 pounds offensively. They can blow some people, and they're doing it. They're blowing them right off the line.
4 minutes to play in the first quarter. No score. And there's Mike Kelly again, and a pickup of 7.
There's a good job by Gross. He just got a leg, or else that man might have been gone. He come out of the pack there. They're just using a short trap, evidently. That's a typical Bluefield play. Merle Gaynor used it. John Samar used it. Quarterback just turns around counters, and they give it to the fullback up the middle on the trap. That's been good for over the years for Bluefield.
Second down and 3 now for Bluefield. Carter will throw on second down. He'll go deep with it, but the pass is overthrown. Intended that time for Charlie Thompson. Really nothing to lose on second and short there, going ahead and throwing deep.
No, that was a good surprise play because they've been running the ball in short yardage. Beckley was probably looking for another ball and play on the ground. But this is where you got to count on your running game. 3rd and 4.
Last year, it was Bluefield winning the battle of Raleigh County versus Mercer County, 14-0 over Pete Culicerto's Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles. There's Carter on the option play. And Scott will have the first down. Have it easily. Pickup of 8 yards out to the 35.
It was a real nice job, real nice option. As you said, that Carter boy does maneuver real well back there, and he's quick. And he took that option right to the end, and then when the end covered him, he flipped it out.
The key to the option, of course, defensively, is being able to read the option and get to the quarterback and do it quick.
Get to the quarterback a little quicker. And, you know, the man played the quarterback, but he was just a little quicker.
First down. Carter will throw it on first down. A little straight drop. He manages to get out of it. Look at the scrambling ability. He's all the way out to the 44-yard line. He'll pick up 9 yards, and it looked like Woodrow Wilson would have him sacked for about an 8-yard loss, but hello, he picks up 9 yards.
Yeah, they had 3 men back in there on him, and they just didn't get down in a good football position. But he's quick. He did a good job of scrambling there, and really saved him because it's been 3rd and about 18 now, or 2nd and 18, 2nd and 1.
Split backfield for Bluefield, and Woodrow Wilson shows a 6-man defensive front. Carter throws the ball over the middle, and it's complete. Thompson on the reception.
They say no.
Well, it looks like he's going to say no. So from our vantage point, like he had it, but the official will say no, sir, bringing up a 3rd down and short, 1 yard.
Is this a Tennessee Bluefield during the year? Did you notice thrown on second with short yardage?
Yes, I would have to say so, because they're so explosive on 3rd and short. They've got the backs to get the first down, so it's happened several times this year on 2nd and a yard, 2nd and 2 yards. They'll go ahead and throw deep, try to surprise the defense and catch them off guard.
Well, with the size of the line, 223, you can do it. It's a good philosophy.
3rd down and 1 now for Bluefield following the timeout with 1:48 to play in the first quarter of play here from Beckley. And there's Ronnie Scott, and he'll have the first down, it looks like, barely by about a half a yard.
It's going to depend, Pat, on that mark again. He was hit.
Again, very close, and the official will say, let's measure for it.
He's giving it to him.
The following here at Woodrow Wilson, I guess it's like any team. You win, you get a big crowd. You lose, and it's hard to put people in the seats.
But it's a nice crowd, and one reason is Bluefield. People always come out and they like to see Bluefield.
And there's the fullback, Mike Kelly, and a pickup of 8 yards all the way inside Woodrow Wilson territory to the 48.
There's a little draw, sort of a trap again, where the quarterback wheels and the back comes in behind him and he hands it. As I said, that's been a bread and butter play for Bluefield for years. And anytime you got a coach that has played for a coach, they use pretty much the same plays.
Right.
They got their pet plays, but they use them year after year.
2nd down and a long 2. And the toss back goes to Ronnie Scott. He's going to be wrapped up. Pickup of maybe a half a yard, if that.
They have a flag in the secondary.
Flag on the play. Well, on a 2nd down and 3, a clipping call will back the Beavers up 15, and that one hurts. Now 2nd down and 17 now for Bluefield. Ball resting on their own 37, and it looks like a delay of game call against Bluefield.
Quarter ran out. End of the first quarter.
And that will end our first quarter of play here on the high school football game of the week on WVVA TV. No score between Woodrow Wilson and Bluefield. Back with the second quarter action in a moment. Game of the week here on WVVA TV. Pat Frizzell with Ken Wheeler, a former head coach of Woodrow Wilson between 1962 and 67. The first play of the second quarter. And there's Ronnie Scott. He's going to lose a couple yards, bringing up a 3rd down and 19.
Real good defense. It was the old, what they call the old red dog that time. The linebacker shot the gap there and he made it good job.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about a mishap we had a couple weeks ago in Bluefield. Stonewall Jackson in Bluefield High School after the ball game. A few altercations between the fans and the players resulted in a couple minor injuries to a couple of the Bluefield fans. We'll get to that comment here in just a moment. And Carter will throw the football, and it's complete. That time to Jerome Carter, and he's loose outside of the 50, but it looks like he'll still be a couple yards short of the first down, bringing up a 4th down situation. Now, what I was going to say, Coach, is was that evident back in the 60s? It seems like we see this more and more frequently here in the era of the 80s, where teams get a little bit too involved and altercations do develop.
Well, we have a few. You know, you have some fan, I hate to say it, but, you know, gets a little too much under the belt, and you have problems like that. But they're not as prevalent back then they are, you know, as they are now.
Shota gets a boomer away, all the way inside the Woodrow Wilson 5-yard line. A kick of 43 yards, and he has really pinned Woodrow Wilson against the wall here.
Pat, I'm seeing something that is surprising me. The coffin corner kick. You just don't see it, and I'm a real believer in it. I was a kicker myself in college, and taught all my high school kickers to do that. I don't know whether that's intentional or not, but it must have been, because it was rifled right for that coffin corner. Now that's something that can really put you back and save. Instead of kicking in the end zone and bring it back to the 20, you just lose yards. But this is it's a delight for me to watch these kickers, both of them at this time, kick for that coffin corner.
Well, it looks like the official, however, is going to rule that the ball went out of bounds at the 18-yard line. We saw from our vantage point he went ahead and dropped his white flag at the 4. However, that is not the case. The ball is resting on the 18.
I thought it was down there unless it, went out in the air. If the ball goes out in the air, wherever that back official marks it. So evidently that's the case, Pat. Pat, just this series with Bluefield, I just charted the last 26 ball games, and it was 14 for wins for Beckley, 11 for Bluefield, and 1 tie. So it's been a real close series over the years. Just 26 games, and there's only 3 1-loss difference.
Yeah, very good point. These two teams, like you say, have apparently played very evenly matched through the years. 11 minutes to play in the first half. On a first down play.
There's a flag again.
And we've got a flag down on the play. That time it was Odie Parker. A lot of penalties thus far in the ball game. Coach Pete Colasurto, he really had the jinx on Bluefield back 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, from 79 there, he won 7 straight. Up until last year, he really did have the jinx on him.
Anytime you can beat Bluefield 7 years in a row, you're doing something right. And that time, Staples on the carry, and he'll have a first down easily. In fact, he'll pick up some 25 yards all the way out to the 39.
These are the keys that are showing up as we talked in pregame. Beckley's speed, and if Staples as well, it'll make a difference, because anytime you can get him turning the corner, he can go.
First down and 10 for Woodrow Wilson. They've dug themselves out of a hole. They started this drive back on their 18. They've moved the ball in the last couple of plays all the way out to their 38. And that time it's the tailback.
Chris Gross, he's alternating them now. He's alternating with Chris Gross, a sophomore, and Nathan Staples, a junior. Staples coming back in and tailback now. So it's a good thing to have where you can have 2 tailbacks and alternate, but I noticed he took out Parker and is leaving Staples and Gross both. Gross started the season playing fullback with Staples the tailback.
Second down and 6. And again, there's Gross on the carry. He'll pick up a yard on the play, bringing up a 3rd down and 4.
So Coach he's got back in there pretty much the outfit that he started about the 2nd game. He had Shelton Boy playing tailback, and then Staples had such a good game. And moved Staples to tailback, and Gross was the fullback. And he's alternating those 3 right now around. He's got Odie Parker back in there at fullback, and Staples in there at tailback.
3rd down and 3. And they'll have the first down. Staples that time on the carry, and he'll have it all the way inside the Bluefield 49 down to the 48. So another first down for Woodrow Wilson, and they have controlled the clock here for most of the first half.
Yes, Pat, and that's what you want to do. There's a lot of nice inside blocking there, but again, as everybody says, the thing is to get it across that goal line when you control the clock like this.
And And there's Tommy Moore, a little reverse play on the end around, and he'll pick up a couple more to the 44-yard line of Bluefield. Now, this is where Fred Simon and company really want to tighten their belts here and buckle down.
Yes, the defense they need to tighten up, but I said Beckley's got a going here. Their running game's working real well, and they're alternating 3 or 4 backs in there. But it takes a toll on these offensive linemen.
Second down and short 7. And there's Staples out across the 40, and he fumbles the football, and Bluefield has picked it up in midair. And the race is on inside the 30, all the way inside the 20-yard line. And it looked like they just stripped the football away. Mike Kelly came up with it. The Bluefield linebacker, and what a turn of events, all the way inside the Woodrow Wilson 20-yard line to the 19.
This is just what's been happening, Patty. They've been driving, and then all of a sudden, bang, something like that, and it just shows, though, Bluefield is hitting pretty hard.
First down and 10 for Bluefield. They're threatening on the Woodrow 19. Carter throws the ball into the end zone. It's incomplete. Intended for Floyd Ray.
Had nice coverage on that pass. That's something that they've been working on. Their secondary has been hurt on the rollouts in the option, halfback option pass.
How about a difference between now and the 60s as far as running the ball, throwing the football? Do we see more running nowadays, more throwing?
I think you see more running, really, Pat. Back there in the 60s, Huntington and Beckley, Charleston, Parkersburg, they used to throw the ball an awful lot.
Second down and 10 with 8 minutes to play in the first half. And Carter runs the option. He'll pitch it out at the last moment to Ronnie Scott. Pick up a 3, but he'll still be about 6 yards short of the first.
Beckley's doing real good defense now. They're playing the option real well. Secondary's coming up, and this is what I hope they don't get hurt again, come up and have a halfback pass if Bluefield throws one. But you're talking about passing. I came from a small school to Beckley, and that was probably one of my biggest fears, was to stop the pass. I didn't know whether I'd be able to stop it because everybody threw the ball.
3rd and 6, they pitch it back to Scott. Tries to get outside, but he's going to be swamped under. Pickup of 2, he'll still be 3 yards short of the first down.
Really another good job defensively. They played it well. The man took the quarterback, and I had 2 men on the pitch man.
4th down now for Bluefield. It's decision time for Fred Simon's Beavers.
Do they have a kicker?
Pretty good kicker. Mike Schuda handles the kicking chores for Bluefield, but it appears like the Beavers will go for it here.
I don't know, the way this ball game's going here, 3 points might look good right now to get something on the board.
Ladies and gentlemen, check your program.
Woodrow Wilson entered tonight's ball game with a 1-4 record, and Coach Wheeler, does that surprise you?
Yes, it does. I knew they were young. They were young this year. They start off a young ball club, but I thought they'd at least be 3-2.
On a 4th down, Bluefield will gamble. They go for it. Carter will throw the football into the end zone, and it is incomplete. So Woodrow Wilson holds, Bluefield gambles, and it backfires.
And I think they might have gone for the 3 again. It's second guessing, but I'd like to say right now, those are 3 of the best defensive plays downs I've seen Beckley play. They played both options, option right and option left, and this rollout by the quarterback pass real well.
Anytime you can stop Bluefield when they have the ball inside the 20, you're doing the job.
Doing a real job because, you know, offensive line 223, they did an excellent job.
7 minutes to play in the first half. Woodrow Wilson will now take over. They've got two receivers split out to the right. And that time, Pulisurto will give to Gross. And a fine pickup. He'll get 8.
Pat, that's one thing about Coach Pulisurto also. There was a hard loss last week.
Second down and 2. Cody Parker, he's loose, out across the 40, and the foot race is on. Inside the 30, and he'll be brought down. No, he goes all the way. Touchdown, Woodrow Wilson.
No flags, Pat. There's through flag for throwing the ball down. Measured up on the kickoff.
It looked like Floyd Ray would catch up to Odie Parker. However, Parker goes all the way for the touchdown. There is a flag in the end zone, but it will probably be against Woodrow Wilson after the touchdown. So it will be assessed on the kickoff. We'll come back and take a look at that on replay here in just a moment. Odie Parker pulls his way 70 yards for the touchdown. And the extra point attempt is good. No good. Off to the side. And Coach Wheeler, we've got a moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at it as Odie Parker goes all the way for the touchdown.
Yeah, he broke through there, Pat. An off-tackle play was hit line of scrimmage, and stumbled, recovered his balance, and took it on. Then he was caught. He was touched back there, but again gained his balance and went in for the score.
Floyd Ray was the only man who had a chance to catch Odie Parker on that play, and it looked for a moment like he had him. Well, Parker pulled away.
He pulled away. The only reason why he pulled it, he kept his balance real well, and he got his knees up. And he was tripped, but he got his knees high and kept them square.
A high kick. And it will be down there at the 32-yard line.
See, there's a sort of a break there, too, by him dropping down his knees. If he'd caught that ball in the air, there's another 20 yards there. They've got the ball, say, on the 50. So you can see what that penalty would do for you.
Straight handoff to Mike Kelly.
Good job in middle line there. They're working that middle line. Naturally, I would think they would because of the size of the offensive blockers.
Second down and 8 now for Bluefield High School under head coach Fred Simon in his 3rd year with Bluefield. Carter throws the football to Thompson, and Thompson is loose outside, inside Woodrow Wilson territory, all the way down to the 40. We've got a flag and perhaps a face mask.
Possibly could be. He was reaching up around his shoulder pad, so he might have got a piece of that face mask.
1st and 10 for Bluefield. And they give that time to Scott, picking up 7 down to the 15.
That offensive line, they're showing their size right now. They had a hole there that, as the old saying goes, you can drive a truck through. Beckley is going to have to, they're probably going to have to end up out here stunting a little bit to offset that size.
That size, as you mentioned moments ago, can really wear a team down and take its toll during the game.
In the 4th quarter, yes.
Second down and 3. And again, there's Scott. Well, he picks up a couple on the play. Looks like they had him back for no gain. However, he'll move the ball to the 10-yard line where he should have another first down for Bluefield. Just like that, Bluefield has driven the length of the field. Ronnie Scott straight ahead, down to the 6. Now this would really be a momentum boost for Woodrow Wilson. If they could stop Bluefield here, they would really be in good shape.
Yes, it'd be a good momentum booster for them, Pat. And also, I don't know whether Bluefield does this during the year, but evidently after somebody scores on them, they get mad.
They do get mad.
They have moved the ball down the field real well.
Well, against Tazewell High School out of Virginia, they trailed 3-0 in the closing seconds, and they drove the ball all the way in for 6. They won the game 7-3, stunning the Bulldogs. Carter runs the option himself. He'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Bluefield.
Stacy Carter in for the touchdown, 7 yards.
Use that quarterback. Carter's runs the ball real well. He picks his holes. He's the man to key this offense.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to congratulate Kelly May.
Mike Shota on to attempt the extra point now for Bluefield. We're tied at 6. Shota trying to give the Beavers a 7-6 advantage with 3:29 to play here in the first half. Shota's kick is away, and it is right down the center. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Coach Wheeler, as no surprise that time, Stacy Carter shows his speed and a foot race to the left side of the end zone.
Yeah, there's no surprise there. Bluefield did a real good job. I have to give them credit for that. After the score, I think they just made up their mind that they were going to move the ball, and Carter took charge. Both teams, I think, are playing real good football. They're not gambling a whole lot. They're playing it close to the vest.
Shota's kick will be fielded by Moore at the 9. He's got some room up the middle, and he's out to the 40-yard line. A good return of 30 yards by Tommy Moore, and that will bring up a 1st and 10, of course, for Woodrow Wilson with excellent field position. I know Coach Pete Culler-Serto would love to get something on the scoreboard here with 3 minutes to play in the first half, trailing Bluefield 7-6. And Moore on the carry, picking up 4. Second down and 7. They fumble the football, but it looks like Culler-Serto jumped right back on top of it. He seemed to pull away just a little bit too quick.
Too quick on it.
3rd down and 8. Culler-Serto with a straight drop throws the ball over the middle and is intercepted by Charlie Thompson. Inside Woodrow Wilson territory to the 41. There is a flag down, however. Charlie Thompson came up with a football, the good old tip drill. Carter throws it over the middle. It is nearly intercepted. Billy Cole, number 22, nearly came up with it. And if he could have picked that pass off, he could have gone all the way.
He'd have gone away. That's one of the things, Pat, as you were saying now. He was trying to get something on the board, but it could have just reversed. Beckley could have had 6 on the board there. So it's a gamble. Still, 1 point is not, I don't think, will win this ball game.
There's bound to be some more scoring in the second half, that's for sure. And a little draw play to Ronnie Scott. No gain on the play. 3rd down and 9 now for Bluefield. 53 seconds to play in the first half. And there's the razzle-dazzle we just talked about as Thompson's going to try to throw the football. He does a little short pass, but it's dropped by Ronnie Scott at the 48. And he had the ball. If he could have come up with it, he would have easily had the first down plus some. On 4th down, Mike Shota will get the kick away for Bluefield back at his 22. Tommy Moore standing back at the 34.
Block.
A near block, and a flag will go down. Tommy Moore needs to get on this one here. Now goes all the way down to the 6-yard line. They say Bluefield football. He fumbled the football. Looks like he touched it as he tried to make the grab, and then he tried to jump on it. He fumbles it, and 10 seconds to play in the first half on our high school football game of the week here on WVVA TV. Pat Frizzell with Ken Wheeler, former head coach here at Woodrow Wilson High School. The Beavers threatening following the turnover. Carter will throw the football over the middle. He's got Thompson inside the 5, brought down at the 4. This will be the final play of the first half. Bluefield with the ball on the Woodrow Wilson 4-yard line, and they will go for it. They will not kick the field goal. Carter will roll to his left and throw the football. Tries to. It is caught. Touchdown, Bluefield.
Pass complete by Stacy Carter to Corey Gray for a touchdown.
Made a couple moves and found the receiver.
Showed his kick right down the middle, and that is the final play of the first half, and that is a backbreaker for Woodrow Wilson. At halftime, Bluefield leads Woodrow Wilson, the Flying Eagles, 14-6. We'll be back with our halftime show in a moment.
Here on our high school football game of the week on WVVA TV. Pat Frizzell along with Ken Wheeler, where we are at halftime. The Bluefield Beavers holding on to a 14-6 lead over Woodrow Wilson, and if it were not for the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, it would be Woodrow Wilson on top.
Yes, Pat, it definitely would be. Again, it's been a thorn all year with Coach Carl Serto's team. They just give away the cheap touchdowns in the sense of the breaks. The 15-yard penalty after the touchdown really hurt him too, and the face mask on the second touchdown Bluefield got.
Now let's talk about that last touchdown there. Floyd Ray, as there was no time left on the clock in the first half, and what does that do to Woodrow Wilson? It seems like momentum and confidence could dwindle at that point, but yet a sign of a good team is a team who can come right back.
Yes, it demoralized you a little bit, and Coach Serto, he has a knack of getting him up at halftime. But going back to that play, as you say, why it's so demoralizing is that they had Carter, or that you'll see in the film probably that Carter was tackled or leaning over tackle. And on the way going down, he spotted that man. And as you said, the pregame show, Carter is the man, and he makes that offense go. And he was on the way down as he was throwing that football, and he spotted an open man, which naturally is a good quarterback.
What will Woodrow Wilson have to do here in the second half to get back in this ballgame? They were impressive. They had good field position throughout the first half. They stopped Bluefield several times and got the football back and took advantage of it, and basically were grinding it out there from time to time with 2 or 3 first downs in a drive, and they really have nothing to be ashamed of here in the first half. They only trail 14-6.
No.
What do they have to do to get right back in it?
Pat, they just have to gather their wits about them, as you might say, and they're receiving the kickoff. And there's no panic because, you know, the 2-point conversion, you can go score and tie it up. But they won't panic. They'll play the same game plan they had before because they know they've been moving the ball. They know the only 2 touchdowns Bluefield got were basically by mistakes, but they did capitalize on those mistakes and put the ball in the end zone. But it was no real drives against Woodrow that game to score. So they'll keep their heads on, and they'll have the same game plan to start the third quarter.
Again, we are at halftime here from Beckley, where the Bluefield Beavers are holding on to a 14-6 lead over Woodrow Wilson. It should be an exciting second half. Stay with us for more of the Game of the Week here on WVVA TV.
The high school football game of the week here on WVVA TV. Pat Frizzell with Ken Wheeler. And unfortunately, we have encountered some technical problems in the third quarter. Therefore, we will be unable to bring you the third quarter action. We only have 5 minutes, 4 seconds to play in the ball game. Woodrow Wilson came up with 2 touchdowns in the third quarter to take a 20-14 lead over Bluefield. And that is where we stand right now, again with 5 minutes to play here in the ball game. Unfortunately, we do apologize for the technical problems, especially for the folks in Raleigh County at Woodrow Wilson High School. Coach Serto, you'll have to pick those highlights up from your tape crew. Coach, you're inside on that third quarter. We didn't see it, but a lot of guts by Woodrow Wilson. They came right back to take a 20-14 lead, and it's really not surprising.
No, it isn't, Pat. We talked about it at halftime. They wouldn't change their game plan, which they didn't. They just kept moving the ball on the ground. Staples, Gross, Parker, then they countered them more, and then moved it in for those 2 touchdowns. Also, when they got in trouble, Vince Colasurta moved back and hit Mike Anderson on 2 crucial third down plays. This is something they haven't been doing previously in the early games.
Right now on a 4th down and 15, Colasurta will throw to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended that time for Tommy Moore in the end zone, and he had him open, but he just couldn't hook up with him. So Bluefield will now take over.
This gives Bluefield an opportunity here. Beckley had also an opportunity to go in and maybe get 3 on the board. But now the defense is going to have to do the rest from the 4:58 left in the 4th quarter. But getting back to that 3rd quarter, Mike, that's exactly what Coach Colasurta wanted to do. He knew he could move the ball and don't panic. 8 points was nothing to pick up, and they picked them up early.
4:57 to play in the game. Bluefield takes over 1st and 10 on their 20. And they hand it off to Scott, picking up 4.
And it's the same thing here with Bluefield. But they're not going to go away from their game plan with 4 minutes some left. They can still keep the ball on the ground and throw an occasional pass. Because a touchdown here ties the score, and an extra point wins the ball game for them.
Again, we apologize for the technical problems in the 3rd quarter and part of our 4th quarter here. Some video problems that we were unable to work out, so we'll have to bring you the closing moments of the game. Bluefield throws the football. It's intercepted by Chris Gross. He's inside the Bluefield 30 to the 27, and Woodrow Wilson will have very good field position here with 4:12 to play in the game, and that is the big break they were looking for.
Definitely a big break in the 4th quarter that they haven't been getting, Pat, and this is a matter of controlling the ball and putting it in the end zone. Now, they got to put it in the end zone and don't leave too much time left for Bluefield. Pat, as we were talking about halftime, these games, Bluefield and Beckley, down through the years, they've always drawn big crowds. Now, here's 2 teams not going any place. And I'll give credit to the Beckley fans. They came out this evening to support this club, and they're seeing a good football game this evening. And they always support their teams here in Beckley.
Very impressed indeed. And there's Gross on the carry inside the 15, brought down at the 10-yard line. Chris Gross, he intercepts the football, then he carries it for about 15.
Chris Gross is a sophomore. He's doing a good job. He had to grow up in a hurry because Coach Colasurta needed him, and he showed last week that he can carry the mail by going, I think he ran over 100 and some yards against Logan.
Now, if Woodrow Wilson can score here, they may just put it away.
Oh, I'd say, Pat, yes, with the score here, and it probably will put the game away.
20-14 in case you're just joining us on our high school football game of the week on WVVA TV Channel 6. Pat Frizzell with Ken Wheeler. Coach Wheeler coached here between 1962 and 67, and also a former assistant to the head coach now, Pete Colasurta. Tell us, what is he like, Coach Colasurta, as far as a head coach? What is his style?
Coach is a laid-back type of coach. He came up through the ranks. He earned the job by coming through this. He came with me over here in 64 as an assistant, and then been assistant under Joe Hicks. And Coach Colasurta learned a lot of football, not necessarily under me or Coach, just on his own. He studied it, and he's a fine, knowledgeable coach right now, and he deserved the crack at the football job when it became open because, as the old saying goes, he served his time.
Right. Receivers split to each side out of the I formation now. And they give it to the fullback. Touchdown! Cody Parker goes into the With 3:13 to play in the game, Woodrow Wilson has outscored Bluefield 20-0 in the second half to take a 26-14 lead over the Beavers. And a case here in the second half of Bluefield coming out a little bit flat, and it's paid off for Woodrow Wilson.
I think they did. I don't know whether they just thought that the points they got were easy and they could get them again, but they have been a little flat. But I've got to give credit for the Beckley defense. They caused some of those turnovers.
Woodrow Wilson will go for the two-point conversion, leading 26-14. Bruno Soto will fake the handoff inside. He's got some room around the right side. It's in there. The two-point conversion. Vince Culasurto keeps it.
But this is another thing which you hate to say that you learn from losses, but you do. They learned last week now. There's 3:13 left. They're 2 touchdowns ahead, but they're not going to let up. They know what happened last week, and it's possible that it could happen again. But this is the lessons you learn from a loss like that over at Logan.
They don't call that offside a lot on kickoffs. I've seen them. That's not a lot of times. I know that, but I'm saying they don't call that. I think that happened last time.
Well, be sure to stay with us after the ball game. If Woodrow Wilson holds on to win this one, they now lead 28-14 with 3:13 to play in the game. We will have the winning coach of Woodrow Wilson, Pete Culasurto. And he will join us after the game. That is if his squad can hold on. If Bluefield should come back, we'll have Fred Simon. Fumble on the kickoff. And it's loose once again. Mike Kelly let the ball go right through his hands. But Woodrow Wilson, rather Bluefield, will come up with it here on the 31. Next week, our high school football game of the week moves on into McDowell County, and the Mount View Golden Knights hosting the team you see here in the white tonight, the Bluefield Beavers. That's next week on the high school game of the week. Bluefield at Mount View. Stacy Carter is going to have to come up with something quick here at quarterback to get his squad back in the ball game. He'll throw the football intended for Thompson. It's incomplete.
Pass like that, they're going to have to be careful. That's not lateral and be awake and something like that. But they have to pull all out all stops now, Pat. We got to get a score, real quick.
What is a recommended strategy here now for Bluefield? You go for it all right now, I guess, by 14. And you only got 2:42 left.
You don't have to go for all, but you got to go. You got to score within the next minute, and then you got your onside kick. But Beckley realizes this, and
there's the razzle dazzle. They throw to Thompson, and they try to go deep that time to Jerome Carter. It is incomplete.
Yeah, that's what they have to do. It's there's Beckley's defensive secondary realizes this, and they can play deep and play soft on something like this. But that's a nice call, though. It's one of those calls that will get you a quick touchdown.
3rd down and 10 now for Bluefield, trailing by 2 touchdowns with just over 2 minutes to play in the ball game. Carter will go deep over the middle. He's got Thompson, but he can't come up with it at the 39 of Woodrow Wilson. And he had him open.
He had him open. He was there. Just let him pass and go throw.
Again, right after the ball game, it looks like Woodrow Wilson will hold on. We will have the winning coach of the Flying Eagles, Pete Culasurto, to get his insight on tonight's Woodrow Wilson performance. And should they hold on here, Woodrow would improve to 2-4 on the year, while Bluefield would go to 500 at 3-3. They go for it on 4th down, no surprise. Carter throws the ball. He's got his man, Jerome Carter, out across the 40 to the 44, and he will have the first down. Don't count Bluefield out, even though there's only 2:25 to play in the game. A quick touchdown, like you said, Coach, and they could be right back in it.
Back on onside kick, but I'm impressed with that Carter boy at end there. He has good, runs good routes, and he good set of hands. Now, he pulled that one right out of the air. Plus, it took Carter, the quarterback, clear across the field. You got to throw that ball to get in there.
What I'm surprised about is Woodrow Wilson. Boy, they have really come out and dominated this second half. It's unlike a Bluefield team to be devastated this way in one half of football, but they have. Being outscored 22-0. And there's Thompson. He decides to keep it. He's across midfield to the Woodrow Wilson 48-yard line.
He should have got that off. That strip reverse pass. Now, that's something that takes a lot of time, a lot of good offensive blocking. But you're talking about the Beckley second half. Vince Concerto just ran the club superbly. He alternated his backs. He kept most of them fresh, and the play call was real good. Then when he had to pass, he didn't throw the ball until he had to. The third down, long situations, he put it right out there.
An impressive performance by Woodrow Wilson tonight. They trailed 14-6 at halftime, and they have come up with 3 touchdowns in the second half to stun Bluefield. 28-14 now. Woodrow Wilson leading the Beavers. And this can really give a team a boost midway through the season, like Woodrow Wilson pulling things off.
Woodrow needs a boost in a sense because, their schedule doesn't get any lighter. They've got Charleston, they've got Mountain View, they've got Parkersburg, and they've got Princeton. Their schedule gets tough, so it's a big boost. It's a big confidence builder.
2nd down and 2 now for Bluefield. They've got to go for the big play with 1:44 to play. Carter, and there's that razzle-dazzle again, but this time Thompson will keep it. He'll have the first down inside the 45 to the 44, but that's not going to be good enough. They're going to need the big play here to get back in this thing.
They're going to have to throw the bomb to get into this football game. These plays, Beckley will give them 10, 15 yards, first downs right now. So that type play like that doesn't hurt you. Matter of fact, it helps you because it keeps the clock going.
Minute 20 to play. Carter, he'll throw it over the middle. He's got his man, Floyd Ray, inside the 25, where he's inside 20 to the 19.
That's the type of play they need. They're going from line of scrimmage, no huddle. Time is of the essence right now for Bluefield.
Hurry up offense. 1:13 to play. Clock now rolling. Carter rolls to his right. He'll throw it into the 5, but we've got a flag. And it may go against Woodrow Wilson with an interference call. This ought to be an interesting one here. Did it?
No, they can't
Well, we probably did it too.
Well, we do have an interference call.
It was questionable, but that's another thing about throwing the ball downfield. You get these calls, and it moves the ball. It's a lot easier to move the ball this way than it is running with it.
First down, Bluefield, just outside the Eagles.
And that'll bring up a first down at the 11. They can still get to the 1-yard line and pick up first down here. They need to score, do it quick.
They need to score right quick before have any chance onside keeping that for the. They're going to try.
59 seconds to play. Carter, he'll throw the football, and it's broken up
O.D. Parker there got his hands a good job defense. He just dropped back in his zone. Beckley naturally is just dropping back now. Linebacker secondary. They know they have to pass.
Timeout, Eagles.
So to bring up a second down and 10 now for Bluefield, trailing 28-14. Again, next week, our high school football game of the week moves into McDowell County. Mount View hosting the Bluefield Beavers. And again, Mount View, another one of those teams who's explosive. Carter at quarterback.
Mount View always has a lot of talent. In the past, you never know what they'll do. They play a lot of formations, and I'm surprised they don't win more than they do have. They do have talent. They always have speed and size. I don't know what ingredient over there is missing, but they'll be tough for any of the teams on their schedule.
Victor Nystrom, of course, the head coach of Mount View out of Welch. And again, the game of the week will move to Mount View High School next week with Bluefield. Now, Bluefield needs to get on the scoreboard real quick. Do it now. 55 seconds to play. Carter will come out of the shotgun formation. And Carter will roll to his left. Can't find anybody. He keeps it, and he'll go ahead and slide down at the 7. The clock still rolling with 40 seconds to play in the game as Bluefield calls timeout. 42 seconds left.
Bluefield has one more timeout, so
Timeout, Bluefield.
I can say Beckley will probably end up winning this one, Pat. And they really deserved it in that third quarter. They went ahead in that third quarter and just took it to Bluefield. Now, like you say, what happened to Bluefield, you don't know. But Beckley offensively moved the ball real well. Third quarter, they just evidently they straightened out their blocking assignments at halftime.
O.D. Parker, a big game for Woodrow Wilson tonight. A couple touchdowns. Has really been the big story for the Flying Eagles. Third down and 7 now. Again, Carter out of the shotgun for the Beavers. Carter, plenty of time, throws it over the middle. He's got his man.
Pass complete from Stacy Carter. And
Jerome Carter coming up with a grab at the 2. Fourth down with 31 seconds to play. Bluefield threatening, but it may be just a little bit late at this point. Trailing by 2 touchdowns. In fact, with Woodrow Wilson getting the ball back, they could virtually just run out the clock on their next drive.
That's another thing about high school football, Pat. I just like either if it was Bluefield or Beckley's down there, they've got the game won. But they've got pride. Their defense has pride. They don't want them to score. And that's what these high school kids, these high school games are all about. They could very easily, like I say, just give them a score in a sense and then come out and run out the clock. But no, their defense now, the offense done their job, the defense wants to do theirs. They take pride in playing the defense.
Fourth down and 2. This could be Bluefield's last play here. Touchdown, Bluefield, with 27 seconds to play. Mike Kelly goes in from 2 yards out to make it 28-20. Well, Woodrow Wilson recovers the onside kick, and that will be the ball game as the clock, well, it reads still 1 second to play. There is a flag.
Delay of the game flag.
I guess you'd call this somewhat of a mild upset. You know, Bluefield came into the season, they said this could be one of the better teams they've ever had at Bluefield. Tonight they lose their 3rd game of the year.
Yeah, probably a little bit, but I like to say Beckley has rebounded real well. Coach Serto gets those kids back up after the loss. But Bluefield come in here with, they have good size, and I'm impressed with their backfield. I'm impressed with both Carters and their running backs. But it's definitely a good win for Beckley, and they deserve to win the football game.
And that is the ball game from Beckley as Woodrow Wilson, under head coach Pete Colasurto, defeat Bluefield 28-22 on a high school football game of the week here on WVVA TV. In just a moment, Ken Wheeler and myself will go down to the field and be joined by the winning coach of Woodrow Wilson, Pete Colasurto. Back in a moment.
High school football game of the week here on WVVA TV. Pat Frizzell with Ken Wheeler, and of course the winning head coach of the Beckley Flying Eagles, Woodrow Wilson, Pete Colasurto. Again, our final score tonight, Woodrow Wilson comes back in dramatic fashion to beat Bluefield 28-22. And Coach, you've got to be jumping for joy right now.
Well, it sure is, and I tell you, it's been a long time coming, and we feel real good about it.
What do you think was a turning point in that game? You know, you don't see that very often in high school football, where one team just totally dominates one half of football.
Well, we pretty much ran the ball, pretty good in the first half. We made some bad mistakes and gave them that second touchdown and sort of got down a little bit, but they came back out and played real inspired, and I was real proud of them.
Coach Wheeler, what a comeback. We don't see that very often. One team just takes control of the game in the second half. Your thoughts?
Well, Pat, look, I told you at that time, I knew Coach would go in the dressing room and they wouldn't panic or anything. They knew that they could move the football on Bluefield and came out the third quarter and proved that. They just moved it. Vince ran the offense real well. He calls most of his plays, and plus they have those running backs. It's a real joy to have 3 or 4 running backs that you can put in there. And Coach operates real well with them. He knows when to put them in and when to take them out.
What are your thoughts as far as your son's performance? Great performance as far as the ability to find the open man, and he really ran the offensive well tonight.
Well, I was proud of him. I was proud of all of our players. I thought we did a good job coming back. We were down. We went in the dressing room, and we were sort of a deflated football team, and they came back and played really inspired, and I was proud of them. I told them one thing. I said, we haven't played half a ball like this all year long, and we didn't tackle very well in the first half, but we came back and did a good job in the second half.
What did you tell them at halftime? I know we talked about it in our halftime show as far as maybe the air being taken out of your balloon there, because Bluefield came back with no time on the clock to score, to take a 14-6 lead. What did you tell the guys at halftime?
Well, that's pretty much what we told them, that we could move the football on them, and not to panic, just to get in there and play ball. We weren't ranting and raving and kicking in lockers or anything like that, but these guys, you don't have to do that. They're pretty smart and intelligent young men, and once they got their bearings, they did a good job.
Your thoughts on Bluefield's performance tonight? They just came out flat in the second half, it appeared.
Well, Pat, I said they came out a little flat in the second half, but I got to credit that to the Beckley defense. They come out and they stopped that off-tackle play, plus they stopped the option. They did a real good job on stopping Carter on that option play, so that made a difference, too, in the Bluefield, the way they played, the Beckley defense.
Well, once again, our final score tonight here from Beckley, the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles. They come back and dominate the second half to beat the Bluefield Beavers 28-22. Speaking for Ken Wheeler, our color commentator tonight, a former head coach here with the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles. And Coach, certainly thanks a million.
Well, thank you, Pat. It's a joy for me, too, to come out and talk to Coach Colasurto as the winning coach. That makes it a lot better.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you, and I just want to say one thing. This guy got me my start at Woodrow Wilson. I was his assistant coach.
Okay, great. And again, our final score, it's Woodrow Wilson beating Bluefield 28-22 for Pete Colasurto and Ken Wheeler. I'm Pat Frizzell reminding you next week we head to McDowell County as Mountain View hosts the Bluefield Beavers. So long from Beckley.
This has been the High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you in part by Ramey Chevrolet, steering you straight. By Hardee's Restaurants, where we're out to win you over. And by Mullins Ford, your four-wheel drive headquarters in Richlands, Virginia. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next week when the Bluefield Beavers take on the Mount View Golden Knights. We'll see you then.
following is a WVBA Sports Special.